Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. TGIF, we have made it through the week, the last week without football here in the Quad Cities and all over. High school football beginning a week from today. The NFL beginning soon. College football beginning next weekend for the most part. But the Iowa State Cyclones have a football game tomorrow. So a ton to get to. It's been a really fun couple weeks getting ready for football. But I think when football finally gets here, it's going to be much, much more fun. We're excited for that. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you for that. If you're watching us on YouTube later, that's awesome as well. Thank you guys for all the support. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, please do so. And also tell everybody else about what we're doing here in the Quad Cities. Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, every weekday, 10 a.m., right here on YouTube and X as well. We're live on X. X is very good to us as well. And all the podcasting platforms as well. So everywhere you get your podcast, just put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and you can listen to the show each and every day. It's been a lot of fun going on. I'm trying to figure out in my head almost 8 months of doing this, something like that. So, yeah, it's been a blast. Super thankful and excited to get to the football season where I think we can have a ton of fun. Speaking of fun, we got a good show to get to wrap up your week here on Off the Air. And it starts with our good friend Pat Angerer in just a matter of moments. Pat, ready for year number 2 in the booth with the Iowa Radio Network. Gary Dolphin, the voice of the Hawkeyes. Pat, the color commentator, did a fantastic job last year. So we'll talk with Pat here in a little bit. Full disclosure, Pat and I were in Iowa City last night. It was a later night than we thought. So we're both kind of dragging butt a little bit today. But life is good. Iowa football, 8 days away. So we'll talk with Pat Angerer coming up in just a matter of moments. Then coming up later in the show, we're going to be joined by our good friend Greg Armstrong because high school football season kind of begins tonight. A lot of scrimmages around the area. I think it's cool on the Iowa side, or the Illinois side, excuse me. They're now venturing out. It used to be like you're at Rock Island, it was the red and gold scrimmage, or Moline, same thing, and they just scrimmaged inter-squad stuff. Now they venture out. I know that Davenport Central and Rock Island have a scrimmage tonight. Moline and Assumption and the Gilly Bowl is tonight as well. I think PV Geneseo, Alum and Riverdale are having a scrimmage. There's a lot more as well. So kind of the dress rehearsal before what is a fun high school football season that starts 1 week from today. With that being said, we're going to be taking the show on the road on Fridays during the high school football season for the most part, going to that marquee matchup and kind of doing the show from there. We'll also do our previews with other stuff as well. So it won't be just high school football when we're out there, but I think it's going to be a blast to get out to the stadiums, have some fun. Next week, we're looking to be at Tulane Stadium for a show there. It's Bettendorf, it's PV. It should be a ton of fun. So Mobile Party Experience will be there with me as well. So a lot of fun to get to coming up during the high school football season. We'll continue to talk about that throughout today's show and then throughout this week, or I should say next week as well, as we get ready for all of those kind of fun things when it comes to high school football. But high school football season is almost here. Greg Armstrong will join us later in the show from View from the West to talk about the Illinois side when it comes to his predictions in the Western Big Six, the LLC, the Three Rivers. I'll give mine as well, kind of talk about those conferences coming up because it's right around the corner. And we've done, I think, 24, 25 high school football previews here on the show. We'll continue them next week. Great conversations with the coaches. Go check those out on the YouTube page. A lot of fun interviews, kind of getting you set for what you can expect for your team coming up this season as well. So Greg Armstrong later in the show as well. I do want to mention that the Western Big Six Coaches Banquet is coming up very soon. This Sunday, doors open at 5:30. I think it's really cool. They moved it from a Wednesday night to a Sunday night. It helps the coaches out a lot. I think it helps fans as well. So Sunday, you have nothing to do. 5:30 doors open, Rock Island Botanical Center. Get down there, listen to the coaches. I'm lucky enough to get to MC the event. I've done so for several years now. It's so much fun. Good food, good people, a good time. So come support local athletics. Come check out the banquet this Sunday at the Botanical Center, 5:30. Doors open. We're going to have ourselves a lot of fun. So I think that's kind of all the odds and ends that I wanted to get to. I know there'll probably be some things at the end of the show we'll talk about, but including a schedule change probably next week with the new Hawkeye Tailgate show that I'm going to get to. It's not a new show, but the show that I'm going to get to host this year for the Hawkeye Radio Network. Really excited to be doing their pregame stuff. I got to get to Iowa City sometimes on Tuesdays. So maybe a time change on Tuesday shows. We might be starting at 8 instead of 10. Haven't figured it all out yet, but we'll let everyone know that. But I like to keep things consistent, but I want to get up to Iowa City. I got a few things to do up there on Tuesdays. So we'll kind of go through that throughout the show and throughout the week, and let you guys know what's going on with that as well. So news and notes from around the world of sports, baseball-wise, the Cubs fall to the Brewers. So it was 4-1 final. So it's 7-game lead right now, and we're getting towards the end of August. So it's go time for the Cubs. They did a good job cutting it from 9-6. Lost yesterday's game 4-1. So good news, though, wild card-wise, is they have a 5.5-game lead in the wild card. So there should be postseason baseball on the north side of Chicago. Obviously, everybody wanted it to be a division title. I don't know if that happens right now, obviously. They got a big hill to climb. But playing better baseball this week, I think, is one thing you can take away from it as a Cub fan. So Cubs lose to the Brewers 4-1. Also, NFL football last night. It was cool watching the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, they have a lot of Hawkeyes on their team. We're very biased with Logan Lee, one of my favorite people. He's grinding and competing for a roster spot. We kind of talked about him yesterday because last weekend he was the long snapper because of an injury. And kind of showing the versatility that Logan Lee will do for a team. Played well last night, 3 tackles on defense. Didn't get to see a lot of the game, saw bits and pieces of it, looked at some highlights. Read some Pittsburgh blogs and those kind of things this morning. And like I said yesterday, I think for the most part, a lot of people are bullish with Logan Lee. I think most have them getting into that 53-man roster. Obviously, it's going to be a battle, but did a good job last night in his final preseason game. If not, he's going to be on practice squad and in that organization unless somebody else comes snags him. So I think he's had a really good preseason. That's great news for the Quad Cities. That's great news for Orion fans and Hawkeye fans as well. They don't get any better than Logan Lee off the field, and he's doing a great job on the field as well. So we'll wait and see next week. We're hoping the best for Logan, but played well last night. 3 tackles. Did a good job. Y.A. Black, a 5th-round pick from Iowa, of course, last year, playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was outstanding last night. 3 tackles, 3 solos as well, and then 2 sacks. So he impressing, which is no surprise when it comes to mid-round picks from Iowa going to the NFL and doing well. They do a good job producing NFL players at the University of Iowa, taking maybe under-recruited players sometimes and turning them into NFL players. So good news if you're an Iowa football fan watching that game last night. Both Logan Lee and Y.A. Black playing well, former Hawkeyes looking to make the roster in Pittsburgh. All right, speaking of the Hawkeyes, Iowa football, believe it or not, is just 8 days away. And joining us now, the voice of okay, not that. You get mad at me when I say that.
I'm not the voice.
I know, you're not. You're not. Joining me now, the color commentator for the Iowa football program and the state of Iowa and the United States of America, Pat Angerer. How are you, friend?
Thank you, man. Good, man. It's been a long time no see.
I know. Well, the last time I talked with you, you were reading a press release in Iowa City. That's the last. And then like, and then they
last time I was with you was like 8 hours ago.
That's true. On the show. Last time you were on the show was, yeah, it was. You know what? That was fun last night. We had a little dinner in Iowa City. You guys are all professionals and amazing people, and I just was blessed to be around greatness. But for the radio team, dude, that's a great bunch of people. Not just Dolph, but everyone. Just a welcoming, great bunch of people.
Yeah, it's a good crew, man, and it makes going into it as a rookie like I had to last year, and you're going to have to this year. It makes it a really easy transition, and really, really good people. But also people that are really good at their jobs, which is great.
Well, that's the thing too, is like they made you feel so like I felt comfortable right away. Like I knew most of them. I've known Rob Brooks for a long time and Dolph and all of that kind of stuff, Corey Sheets, but met Gabe recently, so I had met him before. But Swish and E.T. and Carrie were as nice as can be. So it was cool. Year 2 for you in the booth. We'll talk Iowa football in a second, but like you mentioned last year, this time you were not comfortable. You were not knowing what to expect, I guess. You got to be real. It's got to be totally different year 1, year 2 for you, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, just knowing how it works is huge. And, we're talking yesterday, I know so much more about the guys. I know so much more about the team than I did last year. And yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. It's it really does seem like the offseason was super fast. Obviously, when you're going to baseball tournaments every day, it kind of makes things go quickly. But yeah, man, it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be great to get back up there in the booth with the legendary Gary Dolphin, owner of Dolph's Iron Bar.
Oh, that's well done. That's good product placement. Yeah, well done. With him too, and I've known him for a while as well. But what was it about? We're gonna have him on Monday. Excited about that. But dude, he hasn't missed a beat. Like he is as funny as quick witted as you can get. Like that's gonna make it easy for you because, dude, he's been doing it at a high level for so long. It's hard for you to mess it up because of how good he is.
Oh yeah, I mean anybody could go up there and do what I'm doing. You know, not a lot of people can do what he does.
That's
not
true.
A lot of people. And what I love so much about it is obviously he's been doing it for this long. He does basketball and football. Sometimes, you know, it's a basketball game, you know, and then 2 days later it's a football game, and he does it with so much energy and enthusiasm and just love for the university and love for the fans. That's amazing. That's so good. I know people love Gary. They love that he's a legend and all that, and they understand that. But I still feel like we're not giving him enough credit.
No, I agree, and it's funny how like he's a better person than he is in the booth, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like what you see is what you get. Sometimes, like if anybody's picturing like the Anchorman stuff where he's this like jovial, nice person behind the mic, and then he just becomes a jerk off. I mean, it's just the further what you see with Dolph is what you get. He's as down to earth and as good a dude as you're ever going to get. We're going to have him on next week, which is really cool. If you could tell yourself last year something that you know now, what would it be going into this whole thing?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a good question.
I don't know.
Isn't
For
it?
yourself, huh?
It's a good question, isn't it? Like,
it's a great question.
Like, what did you
honestly?
What do you know now that you're like, God, I wish I would have known that last year at this time. It would have been a lot easier.
I think, and honestly, I think this goes just for life in general. That like, hey, it's gonna be okay. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be all right, man.
That's deep.
You know,
That's deep. Well, like honestly, I mean, we do get to wrap like it's Iowa football and it's a radio and it's fun. And if you mess up, like that's one thing I learned a long time ago is like it's if you mess something up, it's better just to like joke about it and kind of call yourself out at it and make fun of yourself and move on. Like live TV is live TV, live radio is live radio. Nobody's perfect. You're gonna say stupid things. You're gonna stumble, all that kind of stuff, and just move on. Like don't take it so seriously. There's people that have very serious jobs in this world. I don't think the stuff that you and I do is very serious.
No, absolutely not.
Exactly. You went to practice last weekend?
Yeah, last Saturday. I've been to what, four or five practices, I want to say.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. What did you take away from the practices that you watched or last Saturday's practices or a thing or two that caught your eye?
Yeah, you know, for me, the one thing with this team that I've really noticed is they're all hungry. Like it's a really, really hungry group. There's a lot of guys they're going to be playing significant snaps for the first time in their careers, and they're hungry. They want to make a name for themselves. They want to do a really good job. There's grit, there's toughness, there's togetherness. I really, really like the team. I really, really do like this team. Seems like just a really good group of guys that are out there competing and improving and getting better. And there's a little bit of a chip on their shoulder as to like, hey, you know, I belong. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch them excel and watch them get better and improve every week.
Any player, any person, or any skill position, anything that you're just like, oh, I didn't know he was this. Or I keep hearing about Carson Shire. I keep hearing about some players on offense. Anybody catch your eye and say like, whoa, like he's impressive?
Well, yeah, I mean, the easy answer is Carson Shire. He plays with he's one of them that definitely plays with the chip on his shoulder. He plays with the rage, and He's going to fly around to the ball. He's going to make a lot of tackles. He's going to be an all Big Ten linebacker this year. If we can just keep him on the field, if he can stay healthy, I think Iowa fans are really going to love him. McNeil, running back, true freshman. He came in last couple practices that I've watched and done really well in some live situations. Obviously, you've got Kamari and Jazz and Terrell Washington Jr. But he's going to be the guy that probably will get some reps this year, and he's going to do great. Good third down back, really shifty. And gosh, the kid was in high school last year at this time, so that's somebody that down the road is going to be a real great Hawkeye.
Pat Angerer joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. Who's the leader of this team? Like, we'll go back to your days, and like maybe you were the loudmouth yelling and screaming, and obviously Brett was the brains behind everything behind you, and you just had like dudes in front of you, all that kind of. Who's the leader? Last year, Jay Higgins, probably the leader of that defense. Do you know who the leader, or who do you think might be the leader of the defense is this year?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously where we're the most veteran is on the D line. So those guys will have to obviously step up and lead. And I don't mean veteran as far as age, just veteran as far as experience.
Yeah.
And Jaden Harrell, middle linebacker, like he's a confident guy. He's smart. He's intelligent. He'll be able to lead that team as well. As far as that defense, sorry. And then Xavier Wampa, I think he's going to really step up and have a good year this year. And offensively, obviously, you got to go with the quarterback, Gronowski, right? He's new, so I think he's still trying to feel, just kind of feel that and get the reps in. But he's a guy that this team will follow. He's a guy that's had an amazing amount of success, an amazing amount of wins, probably more wins than most. We will have to probably fact check this, but what is he at? He's got 49 wins as a starting QB or something like that.
Which is crazy.
I don't think anybody's done that. I don't think at the D1 level. I think he's gonna be a guy that they'll be able to follow. And then obviously Logan Jones at center, a lot of experience, super talented guy, tough guy. He's going to be the heart and soul of that O-line.
It's funny because people are worried, like, if Mark Gronowski, he's like, is he going to be good? And I'm just, and all those kind of things. And I'm like, well, if he doesn't do well, then it's an us thing. It's not a quarterback thing. Like, we went and got the guy that has the resume that's done it before. If it doesn't work out in Iowa City, then we're just jinxed because, like, he has the resume in front of him. It's not like we haven't. Yes, it's at a different level, but you can tell it's going to replicate at some level here at the Division I level as well. Pat Angerer.
He's going to do well.
Yeah,
he's going to do well.
What did you like when you go to practice? How are you like? Are you? I'm the defensive guy, and there's two new linebackers, so you're going to go over there and check that out, or you like? What do you want to see being an old middle linebacker? Are you looking at defense only, or do you check out the offense some?
I cheer for the defense. I sit with the defense.
I cheer for the defense.
I do.
I believe that.
I do. I can't. It feels weird being on the offensive side. It's strange. Lon Olenzak was giving me crap about it the last practice I went to because I was on the offensive side to start for maybe like a minute, and then I'm like, I just can't. I can't do it. I got to go over there, with the big ugly guys over on defense. Honestly, for me, what I'm looking for competition. I'm looking for guys that are out there fighting and battling. I love it. It's great to be around that, especially, when you're, I'm coaching the youth. Like it's way different when you're there in Iowa and everything's ran extremely smoothly. The transition periods are fast, and guys are out there competing and playing hard. Like that's like, it doesn't get any better than that. It's beautiful. And
you're saying eighth graders don't transition into drills quick enough? Is that what you're trying to? Weird.
Well, and also too, like it's not as organized on our end either as coaches.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, you haven't done it 20 some years at a high level. What is this week like for the players? Do they want to what was it like for you at this point, where you're tired of probably just kicking each other's butt all the time, and there's now an opponent to focus on, or had you already start looking ahead to the week one opponent? Like, what is this time period like at Iowa? And it's Kirk Ferentz still, which is crazy because I could ask you this and you should be like, well, it was 15 plus years ago. It's probably different. It's not, because the same dude's there, and that's not often said in college football. What is the thought process of the coaches and the maybe transition from camp to like game week like?
Yeah, I'm sure that they've installed a little bit of what they're going to do against Albany, but once next week starts, that's like when it's okay. We're game week. We're preparing. We're doing. We're starting with our traditional, first and second down, and then we're moving to, next couple of days, moving to short yardage, goal line, red zone, all that stuff. It's nice to get into that game week, because then you have that routine. Then you know what to expect, and you know how to prepare. And I'm sure they're excited. I'm sure they're ready to just play. The hardest part about, I guess, a hard part about football is just like the time and the unknown. And well, what if they do this? And what if they do that? And what if they do? It's like, let's get the game week. Let's focus on what we're doing. Let's get the basics down. Let's get our game plan down, and let's play football. And if we do that and do our job, we're going to be just fine.
Do you remember all of your openers? And do you have a favorite opener at Iowa? Were they all like butt kickings? The Northern Iowa game, was that an opener?
Yeah.
Oh, well then that's a dumb question on my part. That's probably was that your favorite opener, or was that your like, oh my God, I can't.
I mean, honestly, it was the only opener that I started.
Oh,
my junior year, I didn't start against Maine, but played. I don't know. I played a couple series, but yeah, that was the only opener that I started.
So that would make sense if that's your favorite.
Well, I don't know. That game still stresses me out thinking about it.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, the whole thing doesn't make any sense. And the thing is, that Northern Iowa team, Pat, I know we've talked about it before, but they were good. It wasn't like it was just like, and that's the thing I don't think people realized is like they were really good, and they went on to have a good season as well.
Well, you media guys, I remember after the game, like, hey, they took him lightly and all this stuff. And I just said, and maybe there were some guys that did, but I just didn't feel like that late into the week. Like it was the stuff that they could do offensively, the way the quick routes, their tempo, like everything, it posed a lot of challenge for us leading up to that game during the week. And yeah, man, it was, I remember my wife even, she goes, I remember you going into that game and saying, hey, like, we got a tough one. Like, we're going to have to play. Now we did only hold them to 16 points. So, but still, they were a game opponent. They were a really good group of guys and a tough team. And I know they didn't stay healthy that year. But if they would have, I'm sure they would have been one of the top teams in the nation.
Your wife is so smart. And don't be throwing the media on. You are the media now. Like, that's you. That's you asking dumb questions. I've never asked a dumb question, I don't think. I think there's no saying. Like there's no such thing as a dumb question, I've been told.
No, I've been told I've been told that's a dumb question when I've asked stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely dumb questions. People who say, there's sayings that don't make any sense. Earlier this week, have you ever heard, and Jordan Delp talked about it on the show, have you ever heard the saying, the best ability is availability?
Yes.
That's not true.
No.
Like Jordan's flat out, it's like, that's not true. The best ability is ability and talent. It's not just being there. So there's a lot of dumb sayings, and including like, I could care less.
That's a tough one for us.
I couldn't care less, because you have to care more.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people say I could.
Okay, before I let you go, let's look at this big picture of an Iowa football team. And I think at dinner last night, somebody was like, hey, Pat, what'd you have them last year and what'd they go? And you, of course, couldn't remember. What do you have them? Have you done it? Have you gone through and been like, okay, they're going to win, they're going to lose, this could be tough? Like, have you gone through the schedule? Do you do that? Or do you just kind of look at it big picture and say, this looks like a 9-3 team, 10-2-3? How do you predict? Because people got to be asking Pat Angerer, like, what's your predictions?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't played a game yet. You don't know. They haven't played one game yet. I'm optimistic. I think they're gonna do well, but honestly, right now, like let's play Albany, and then all right, after we play Albany, let's play Iowa State, and then let's move forward. Let's go to UMass. Like that's where I'm at. Let's play Albany, and then we'll see what's going on. Then we'll adjust and move forward.
We'll talk a little more about this next week, but what are your things that you're looking for against Albany? Give me something on defense and something on offense that you want to like check up. Like Gronowski looks good, or running game looks good, or on the defensive side, what like is it the linebackers? Because you're a linebacker. Like what are the things in Albany that you want to like see to believe, so you like can check something off as that's going to be okay?
I mean, really, it's just efficiency. I want us to be efficient on both sides of the ball. Offensively, run the football, dominate the line of scrimmage. Defensively, stop the run. No big plays. I mean, it's simple, basic stuff. And it's kind of interesting too. Obviously, with Albany in the next week, obviously, big game against Iowa State. It's like you want to show a lot without showing a lot, if that makes any sense. Like you want to show that you're tough, that you're physical and all that stuff, but you don't want to show a little bit too much because you don't want to put anything on tape against Iowa State. You still want to surprise them.
Kirk Ferentz, year number 27, and you get to see him all the time. He hasn't missed a beat. And I think you and I were talking on the way back last night, the things that we can talk on here that we talked about last night on the way home. He hasn't missed a beat, but this staff at the University of Iowa is so deep and talented. Can you talk about that for a second? Because obviously Kirk Ferentz is the head of everything and rocks and rolls, but it's going to be funny one year in 10, 12 years to look back and say, like, this guy was on the staff and he's a head coach here. And I think this staff has a lot of future head coaches and stuff on it. Talk about the staff, because you said, like, it's one of the best staffs that they've ever had at the University of Iowa, and that's saying something.
Yeah, it's great men. It's great leaders. I mean, there's guys, Abdul Hodge, LeVar Woods. Like, there's guys that were extremely good football players. But at the end of the day, all these guys are just really good men and good leaders. And you can see that from how the kids compete. And one of the things, too, I think that the staff, you can tell that they love their guys. Like, they're there for them. They got their back. And you can also tell that the players love them. Like, that's huge, because if you've got a group of kids that are out there playing that know you love them, like, nothing's going to stand in their way. Like, they're gonna go and they're gonna fight and they're gonna battle for you. Extremely intelligent group of coaches, and yeah, I mean, it's one heck of a freaking staff. I mean, from top to bottom, just solid individuals, great humans. I'm excited, man. I'm like really looking forward to this year and getting going.
No, it's going to be a blast. When you look at the schedule, we mentioned it just a second ago. They haven't beaten a top 10 team in a long time. Don't they do that at some point this year? Don't they beat like an Oregon or a Penn State, or hell, both of them? Like, I feel like this is the year that Iowa gets cooking against a top 10 team. We talked about it yesterday with Chad Leistico. It's been weird because usually Iowa's good for that, and they haven't done that in some time.
I think we beat everybody.
It's a great answer. It's a wonderful answer.
Might as well. Let's beat
last,
Albany first. All right, let's beat Albany first. Okay.
I'm sorry.
And then let's move on.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. What does this week look like for you? Like last year, you were probably pulled in a million different directions. Are you still the same way? What does your next week look like, and all that kind of stuff as we've officially hit game week starting on Monday?
Yeah, not as crazy as last year. Last year was it was just nuts. Yeah, I'll be up for Hawk Talk with Dolph on Wednesday, and then we'll be at Fry Fest. And once that's kind of done, then it's all right. Let's get to the game.
You're a professional media member. I'm so proud of you. You've come so far. You used to be this really
cool. I am not a member of the media. You used to be
this really cool linebacker in the NFL and at the University of Iowa, and now you're a media member. You, me, Tom Kakert, all these people in the same. You're with us now. You are.
I'm not.
You are. It doesn't matter what you say.
Banker and a golfer.
You're golfing today. How's the golf game before I let you go?
I golfed. I golfed on a couple days ago. When they had golf Monday, Tuesday. I don't know when that was. Tuesday. Still bad. I'm still bad at it. But I'm looking for. I think today's gonna. I think I'm golfing with a group today where I can cheat, so I think it's gonna go a little bit better.
Where are you golfing at?
Pinnacle, golfing at the
Oh.
Quad City Veterans Outreach Center golf outing.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
a really great organization, and they serve. I want to say they're either close or they're right at 4,000 local veterans, which they do a ton for, from like food bank and it's a wonderful organization, and we're pretty lucky to have that in the Quad Cities. What's crazy though too is that the fact that there's that much of a need, for veterans, and they do a really good job taking care of them, because veterans obviously put on the line for us. We should do the same thing for them.
Well, Pat, continue your rough life of golfing and talking Iowa football. It's a tough gig, but somebody's got to do it.
I know.
We'll catch up with you next week, and dude, football season's here. Like, your
Can't
life
wait,
gets
man.
a little crazy for the next 3-4 months, which is a good thing. So
Crazy's good.
is the youth football team any good?
I don't know. We'll see. We gotta see how we are in the first game. They got potential, but we'll see.
You have so much coach speak in you. It's ridiculous. We just want, hey, Pat, do you think they can beat a top 10 team this year? I'm worried about Albany. Hey, how do you think the youth football team? I'm worried about game one. You are Kirk Ferentz, just a lot uglier. So, all right, my friend, hit it straight today. I always appreciate you. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks, buddy. See you, man.
All right, that is the one and only Pat Angerer getting ready to golf like normal here in the Quad Cities on a Friday. College football season a week from tomorrow, starting up Iowa. I almost said in Maine, Iowa and Albany at Kinnick Stadium. So a week from today is Illinois' opener. And I was going to ask him about it and I forgot, but Iowa State opens in less than 24 hours or around 24 hours from now over in Ireland. So if you missed our interview just a day or so ago with Jake Brent, if you're an Iowa State fan, go check it out. Kind of previewing the game. He was over in Ireland, a bunch of cool stuff with him. So go check that stuff out. But Iowa football alive and well, ready to rock. And don't forget the new home of Iowa football here in the Quad Cities. No longer on the AM dial. They are on vintage 107.7 WQUD here in the Quad Cities, FM style, FM dial, all that kind of stuff. So exciting to kind of see a new era and a new home of Iowa football. So if you're driving around this weekend, if you're listening to this on a podcast and you're in your car, make sure you change the dial. That's not even a dial anymore. It doesn't make any sense, but change your radio settings to 107.7 if you haven't already. Iowa football comes your way 8 days from right now. And again, I'm super excited. I'll be hosting the Hawkeye Tailgate Show. So game one is a 5 o'clock kick. The Hawkeye Tailgate Show is from 3 to 4. Really excited about it. We'll talk with the honorary captain. We have our press box perspective, which is going to be tough for me to say sometimes. I forgot to tell Corey that. But kind of our round table, if you will, with experts. So we'll break down the game. Next week, we'll have a chat and an interview with Mark Gronowski on that show as well. I'm going to do that later the next week. So a lot of great stuff. Really excited about it. Your weather, all those kind of things. So it should be a ton of fun. Of course, you can come check out the Hawkeye Tailgate Show at Krause Family Plaza, right outside Kinnick Stadium. So plan on that. Do that. Come check out the show. You'll be tailgating and all that kind of stuff. We're right there, right as the players come in. I think the players come in probably 5-10 minutes before we start the show. So come check out the players, see them come in, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool. And then head over and check out the show next week. We'll talk a ton about it next week and all those great things. But it's the Hawkeye Tailgate Show on the Iowa Radio Network. Here in the Quad Cities, it'll be on 107.7 Vintage Radio. And really excited to do something that I listen to Iowa radio and Iowa football. I'm 46 years old, so 46 years of my life. And I told Dolph yesterday, it's cool because I've heard him say, you're listening to Hawkeye football from Learfield like 1,000,000 times. So for me to get to say that 7 times, I think, a Saturday before they let the professionals come on in and do their thing is really cool. So we'll talk a lot more football next week when it comes to the Hawkeyes. Gary Dolphin will be on. Pat will be on one more time. Got a few other ideas along the way for this show next week as we get ready for the football season as well. But When we come back from the break, high school football season kind of starts tonight. A lot of great scrimmages around the area, and then it starts for real a week from tonight, which is crazy. So coming up after the break, my good friend Greg Armstrong from View from the West will be by to kind of get us ready for what is week one of the high school football season that comes your way next Friday. All that and much more on Off the Air on a Friday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. The last Friday without high school football for a long time, because next Friday things begin for real. And actually, there is high school football tonight when it comes to some great scrimmages around the area. The countdown is nearly done. And when it comes to high school football, you think of one guy, and it's this handsome fella right here, Greg Armstrong with View from the West. First and foremost, thanks for hopping on. And I don't want to do a victory lap, but I love doing victory laps. Man, was Sunday fun. Was that a great time or what?
It was excellent. It was great. I appreciate everybody who took the time to make the trip from near and far. We had people making the trip, over 2 hours drive time to get there. So head coach from Quincy, Rick Little, making the long haul. So really appreciate it. The fans, the coaches, couple players, the Colin Schweigen and Cale Filler was really cool interviews. So overall, a great event, and being the first one that we've done, I think it'll only get better from here, which is great because I think it was pretty good for the first go around.
Did you have like that sigh of relief moment maybe on the way home, because I've done a few of them, and I did the Oscars one. We've done them at the John Deere Classic. The Iowa City one was a big one for me, but like that was your first like trusting in my stuff and what we're doing to do it. Did you kind of get like a wow? Like my first time I was like, man, I'm so thrilled that I didn't expect it to go as well as it did, and it went well. Did you have that kind of feel?
Oh, yeah. I mean, who knew that a year or two ago that I'd be saying I trust all of our technology to Matt Randazzo?
Dane Miller.
That's true.
Miller is
very true.
And Kiddo and Ian Jacobs for literally Ian comes to the bar that afternoon with a huge ladder and like all these tools. I'm like, we're doing it. We're gonna make sure this thing works. So
I gave him a 100-foot Ethernet cord and said, "Can you string this around the ceiling?" And he did.
Yes.
So it's amazing. I owe those guys like a shirt or a hat or something. View from the West.
No, absolutely. They and their sponsors as well. We got to thank that, because your sponsors were awesome. I can't say enough about Godfather. It's a great sponsor for you and myself. Doing what they supplied some pizzas. Snoop brought some chips and salsa. Mobile Party Experience was there. So yeah, it was a ton of fun. I think we're going to do it again in some way, shape, or form and all that kind of stuff. But I would say, Greg, like 60-ish people were in the house that night at the other bar. I thought it was a cool turnout, which goes to show you people love high school football. It's not like we're crazy. Yeah, we're a little more crazy probably than most people. But like, we're not crazy. This is a beautiful thing, and loved watching it.
Yeah, I was going to count up everybody who submitted a raffle ticket to see kind of maybe as a rough attendance. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I would say, yeah, it was, I mean, over 50 people, I would think, for sure. And it was cool. It filled that front of the bar, the other bar in downtown Moline. And it was fun to hear the banter back and forth, amongst people out, watching, and then us doing the interviews. So, it was cool. It was good to just kind of get everybody together before the season starts.
And then here comes Brian Stocking at the end of the show, just to like steal the show and do what Stockpile does best. So if you're wondering if you missed it, it was Sunday. You can watch it on this YouTube channel. If you're scrolling around, you can go to View from the West and check out their YouTube page and their channel and watch it there. And if you're subscribed to my show and you're for some reason not subscribed to Greg's, like, shame on you. Like, what are you doing? Like, think about everything, reevaluate life, and get subscribed to both as soon as you can, because no more time to talk almost, Greg. Like, this is like the last, I think, big picture conversation I want to have with you, because next week we get more into like specific week one games. And we had Ty Taylor on yesterday, and I started to, and I would have done this a long time ago in my former life at WQAD, but like I started looking more ahead to week one. Oh man, like week one has some, like, they have some, like, even just like Mercer County and Monmouth Roseville, I think, something like that. Like, just even like Princeton and Newman. There's so many great games. So anyways, I want to do big picture stuff, but we're going to do that in a second. Tonight is like dress rehearsal night, and it's scrimmages. And I know we talked to a lot of coaches here on the show. You've talked to coaches on your show that like, they're just ready to hit somebody else and see where they're at. Is that what tonight's about? Is like getting out there, seeing what it looks like, not against yourselves, those kind of things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to backtrack a year, I'm glad that the IHSA has kind of opened up a little bit and let teams kind of choose other teams to scrimmage against. You see over the years a lot of the inner squad scrimmages, right? They're playing against each other. I think Rock Island's done it for years. And this year, Rock Island is scrimmaging against Davenport Central. You said Geneseo is scrimmaging against Pleasant Valley. So there's just, some of those cross river ones are fun, because you hope maybe someday. Assumption Moline. Yeah, exactly. That's a great one too.
The Gilly Bowl, because Gilly used to be at Moline, so it's a huge Gilly Bowl.
Yeah. So it's those type of matchups that you hope someday translate to the regular season. But in this case, I think it's fun to just get out there and put yourself up against somebody else in a controlled environment, but still it's, play to play. It's still going to be some real football in between the whistles. So I think that's, get the nerves out maybe a little bit. And I think just to be out there on a Friday night is great.
You get to be your two big jobs. You get to do, well, besides obviously St. Ambrose, which is probably one of your biggest, but you get to be dad and check out some football tonight. One of the greatest young kickers in the entire state of Iowa is a freshman at Davenport Central. But so you'll be over at Central and Rock Island, and like I have so many people asking me like, what are the Rocks going to look like? And I had a great conversation with Fritz on the show, and this isn't a negative thing, but like I even left that conversation going like, I think he likes his guys and his culture. I don't know what it looks like yet. Like, are you intrigued to see what it looks like on the field for Rock Island tonight?
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of unknowns, right? They graduated 22 seniors last year. So a big senior class, a lot of names are gone. So that leads to a lot of opportunities, you know? So I think you'll learn some names quickly. I think, is it Miles Duster should be at quarterback is one that Fritz mentioned. And, a handful of other guys. I don't have the roster right in front of me, but I think things look different. What I took away from the interview that Coach Fritz did on your show was kind of being open to listening to coaches and seeing if things haven't worked, what should we do different, or really kind of being open to reimagining anything, right? Like just to try to find some recipe for success.
No, exactly. And I think they've done that in a good way. So we'll see how they look this week. Let's stay in the Western Big Six, and I'm not going to go through every team because God bless, I would love to, and you and I would have no problem doing it. But like, there's the time constraints and all that kind of stuff. But I did talk with Matt Furlong yesterday on the show. I get my days running together, but yes, it was yesterday. So go check that out, the Geneseo preview. I'm so like, now I'm kind of bullish on Geneseo, like being in year 2 and they did finish strong and they did win a playoff game and those kind of things. And year 2 under his system, like I'm intrigued with, and we'll talk about the conference as a whole. I'm going to make you pick it too. I have a pick as well, but I'm intrigued by they enter as one of the most intriguing teams to me because they can be a really good story this year, I think.
So I think when you look at Geneseo, so last year they returned 0 on offense, 0 on defense. They had nobody coming back.
I thought I thought that was a typo. When
I know.
I think it was in the banquet or some returning starters. I'm like, well, that can't be correct. Yeah, they had. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So they had, you combine that 0 returning starters with a new head coach and a new system, and maybe that's good, right? That all these players are coming in fresh and they were able to kind of, learn this system right from the start, but also the fact that it's just a lot of learning going on, right? Between players and coaches and everything in the program, and to still come out with a playoff appearance and a playoff win, I think you chalk that up as a win in your first season here. And now you have Jackson McAvoy back at quarterback, Kai Weinzero back at a wide receiver, kind of that slot, running back position. I think you're going to see that's a lot of athleticism there and a lot of players returning, and just they're that much more comfortable in week 1 than they were a year ago in week 1, right? I just think that week 1 with a new head coach, there's always those first couple weeks, there's growing pains and there's learning going on the field in real time. This year, you think you maybe have those things ironed out a little bit better.
Yeah.
Interested to see how that scrimmage goes with Pleasant Valley. And I know scrimmages are what they are. You're not really looking for scores, but just to see kind of what the athletes look like on the field. They open up on the road at Rochelle. So a Rochelle team that was a 5A playoff team a year ago, they were 10-2 last year. So that's a big test. They're challenging themselves in the non-conference, which I think is great.
Not to get anybody mad at me out in Geneseo, but that some would say they haven't always done that in Geneseo when it comes to the non-conference. So, and then they go Assumption. I think it's the Iron Showdown is what they're calling it. Something like that.
Yes.
So that's going to be super cool. Week 2 of the season. As well. So it should be a ton of fun out there. I do mention like Alum Riverdale play tonight, which I think is intriguing, obviously, with Coach Barber going back to where he was coaching 3 months ago and playing them. I've been at Alum, obviously, a couple times throughout the last couple weeks. My 5th grader is playing football, so I'll see Coach Barber and talking to him. I think he's pleasantly surprised with what's there. Not, I won't say surprised. It's a bad way to say it, but I think he likes the pieces that they have there and all those kind of things. All right, let's look at Western Big Six as a whole. I think people look at Quincy and think, well, they lost so much, and there's got to be somewhat of a drop-off. I think that's probably one of the best teams in school history, but I don't know if the drop-off is what people may think, because I think they have some talent back. Is it Quincy? Do we start with when you start about the conference? Do you start with Quincy? Do you start with a Moline team that won a playoff game last year and has lots of people back? Everybody loves UT. I won't let you pick yet. We're going to pick in a second. But where do you start the conversation in the Western Big Six?
I think when you look at the full landscape of the Western Big Six this year, I think you start with Moline and United Township. Or you start with United Township and Moline. I don't want to ruffle any feathers here, with Welch and Morrissey.
Well, no,
I'll
you
say
go
both.
Moline, then UT, because you can say it that way because as Coach Welch pointed out, like Morrissey is the best looking coach in the history of the world. So you got to put Moline first. So go ahead.
I think with the talent they have returning, I think you start with those two in this season. On paper, those two teams kind of jump out at you. Now, that being said, a roster can look one way, and then on the field, it can look a different way. So I think that for some of those unknowns in Quincy, like that's a program that's seen a lot of winning. These players have been very accustomed to playing at a very high level. And I think Coach Welch said it in our live show that, success, breeds success, or the winning culture, you ride that momentum. So can these players continue that? I think is where you look at for Quincy. They have some talented pieces there. They have a well-coached, well-run program. So, yeah, I think those three are kind of up there at the top.
I almost think there's like a couple tiers, and like it's those three and maybe two, but like those three. And then there's like the intriguing teams where like Sterling's always going to be good. And you just have to see it before you move them up to that other tier because they have some unknowns, maybe is the best way to put it. And then, Geneseo's in there with that kind of group. Rock Island, you're kind of intrigued by. And then you got Galesburg, and that everybody talks about how young they were and how talented they were. You just don't know it yet. And Alleman, maybe that next year because of the unknowns of not playing for 2 years. So I think that's kind of, it's if Coach Little's coming up to the Quad Cities 2 weeks in a row, 2 Sundays in a row, he's coming up to the Quad Cities, I think they're going to be pretty good. I really do. Yeah. I think they like their talent. It just is unknown, but I think they reloaded more than they're rebuilding at Quincy. I do want to point out real fast, the Western Big Six Coaches Banquet is Sunday at the Botanical Center in Rock Island. Doors open at 5:30. Their MC is amazing. Witty, charming, funny, all that kind of stuff. But we do have a really good time. So come check it out if you have nothing to do. Good meal, good food, all that kind of stuff as well. But and Coach Little's come back up for that, which I think is pretty cool as well.
So I should be anticipating then this weekend, like Saturday night, you'll be sending me a bunch of text messages like, hey, is this joke good? Is this joke funny? Should I use this?
I've told you the one joke that I want to tell just to make sure, like, I've been bouncing off people and I'm going to go with it. But yeah, because like, and I have my own show, so it's like I don't have to worry about getting in trouble from WQAD by saying something too bad. So I feel like I have even looser reins, but like I do have to rein it in because sometimes like I forget that like, well, like I think MC22 has it on their station as well. Yeah. So like I gotta be careful, like not being, but it's a ton of fun. They love making fun of each other. Coach Welch, when he gets going and starts poking fun at people, especially Coach Morrissey, like he really gets going. Like it's kind of fun to see. So it'll be a ton of fun. So conference wise, where like I know you teased at the live show, and I do have a confession to make. The Western Big Six preview is out for View from the West.
It is.
I've been busy. I haven't listened to it, but you teased that one of you and Mitch did not agree.
We did not
on the winners. So who is your winner this year in the Western Big Six?
I said Moline. Mitch said United Township. So Mitch is making friends over in East Moline. I'm making friends, down the road in Moline.
What was the thought? Tell me the thought process that you have.
I just look at what they did last year, and I really like kind of what they had as the running back by committee. They lose Adrian Cooper, but they return Eli Warren and Mark Carey. I think those kind of pieces there, along with some line play and along with just a really solid group coming back, coached by Coach Morrissey. They got the playoff win a year ago. I think that gives that edge for me. Coach Welch is never going to text me. He's never going to talk to me ever again. But I'm going with Moline. Mitch is going United Township. He's on the bandwagon. He's jumping in.
Well, sorry, I had to use my cough button. No,
you're good.
I think it comes down to the trenches, and I think they're both going to be good up front. And saying that for United Township is a huge thing because UT has always had those skill positions and those kind of things, but it's been whether they're big enough, tough enough, all those kind of things. And I think they are. I think they're the two best because of the fact of the line play. I've heard that like Moline's line play on defense and offense is like they look like a D3 school sometimes. That's how big and strong they are up front. So that it's hard to pick against that, and they've done it. I'm going to go with UT as well. And here's my caveat, and I know Coach Welch listens to everything and uses stuff as motivation when he can. He has sold me so many different times in his tenure at UT. And I've been like fired up and ready to go, and it just doesn't come to fruition. And he'll be the first to tell you, you gotta prove it. Like you can talk all you want to talk, you gotta prove it. I think they do this year. I think they definitely make the postseason, which is awesome. I think the rivalry between those two teams gets even better because, as they mentioned on the live show, it has to be competitive. If one team's winning all the time, it can be a rivalry all you want, but if one team's winning, it's not really a competitive rivalry. I think that's what it'll be. I'll say this too. It won't come down to that game. I think it's going to be interesting because like it's not as so clear cut as two teams are going to beat everybody else and then play each other for a championship. That could happen, but like, I mean, it's a like somebody could stub their toe at Geneseo. Somebody could go to Sterling. Yep. Like it would not shock me to see like somebody go to Sterling, one of those two teams, and lose at Sterling or vice versa. I don't even know where they play. I do remember looking at UT's schedule, maybe even with Coach Welch, and it seemed like the teams that you think might be better, they get them at home. Like I want to say UT was at the Soul Bowl, those kind of things as well. So maybe not Moline. Where's Moline UT? Are you looking at it right now?
I'm looking at it right now. Moline will travel to East Moline.
East Moline, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
So anyways, I'm going to go United Township. You're going to go. Is there a player? I don't want to say is there a player of the year, but is there a player or two that like in this conference that you're like, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do and what they do?
I think the name that stands out based on what we saw last year is Kai Weinzero from Geneseo. I'm excited to see him on the field, and if they have success, which we kind of say like they may be a dark horse here in the Big Six, if they have success, I think it's going to be because he has a huge year. So yeah. That's a name. Yep.
You're going to help me with the name because I spent all morning studying Iowa football because I have radio stuff next week and stuff. And you're focused on the high school, the United Township running back that comes back.
Isaiah Navarrete. That was kind of like my next one that I would have brought up. That's
the one that I think, like with the guys he has in front and the success that he's already had, I think he can have a really good season as well. I'm not going to go around. Like let's do the Three Rivers here real fast as well, and then we'll touch on the LLC. Three Rivers wise, we had Ty Taylor on yesterday. He did a fantastic job as always. But we talked about the two divisions, so we'll start with the big or the large division, otherwise known as the Mississippi.
Don't get me started.
I love Stockpile. First off, I guess in general, we've beaten a dead horse with this, but like it's an 8-team playoff league, isn't it?
I think you're going to see a lot of playoff teams from both sides of the Three Rivers. I think when you look at the Mississippi side of things, I think it's 3 teams that stand out to you in Princeton, Monmouth, Roseville, Kewanee.
Yep.
I think then there's a drop-off when you talk about Mendota, Sherrard, or Spring Valley Hall. But I think those top 3, I think should be they'll be fighting for the top of the conference and they'll be in the playoff mix for sure.
Over in the Rock, can 5 teams make – I don't know if it's even – I don't like doing math, but is it possible for 5 – I mean, you can look at everybody in that side, and I think they all have playoff expectations, don't they?
Yes. Yeah. I think that this conference, this division of the conference is the most intriguing of anyone we cover, because I think when you look at their roster, just take a look at their roster isolated from anything else, you'd say that's a potential playoff team. Now, because they have to play each other, will they all make the playoffs? No. But I think that all these rosters right now, when the season starts, they all should have aspirations to make the playoffs because there's that much talent in this division. It's going to be week in and week out. This is the one you referenced in the Big Six. this is the one you're going to see. Like you said, it's not going to be necessarily maybe Newman, maybe Rock Ridge. I don't think you're going to see somebody sweep through this conference. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. Somebody wins, then the next week they lose to somebody else, then somebody gets another win. Like, it's going to be a lot of back and forth, and that's excellent.
You look at it too. We picked them for both. Let's stay in the Rock. I think Ty picked Newman. I think I did as well. And I really like Rock Ridge. And I'm worried because I'm out here in the Rock Ridge area, so I don't want anybody like slashing my tires or anything like that. But I think they're going to be really good, and they're going to be. But like everything I hear about Newman, and we had Coach LeMay on the show, and like you could tell he just has a quiet confidence about his guys going into year 4 for him, and everything's kicking in the right direction, all that kind of stuff. And you mentioned those two schools. Can you give me a pick for the conference? And I think those two might stand out above the other 4, but not by a ton.
Yeah, I think Newman's the team to beat, but I think it's Newman and Rock Ridge kind of set alone at the top of this conference. But then that's where it gets really interesting when you talk Mercer County,
Riverdale's
Orion,
coming too.
Yeah, Mercer County, Riverdale, Orion, and Erie Prophetstown.
Yeah.
I think they're all so equally matched that it's really intriguing.
What's your pick?
I'm going to say Newman. I think they're the team to beat.
Yeah, I do too. And then like they did some really good things last year. They won that side for the first time, and I think they could to be the best, you got to beat the best. Is it Princeton and Monmouth Roseville? I picked Princeton yesterday with Ty. Your pick in the Mississippi.
I'm going to go with Princeton. I really like what Monmouth Roseville is doing, and I think they're going to have another good year. But I think just looking at what Princeton brings back, Casey Etheridge and, Rhett Pearson is back, and just a few other names that I think could be impact players. Common Green is another player I'm looking at to make an impact this year for Princeton. I think that they're dangerous because they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. I don't think they like the way that the conference shook out last year. And so I think that, and it's no secret, Monmouth Roseville knows that too, right? So, they know it. I think that Monmouth Roseville returns Nick Houston. He's a name that on both sides of the football is going to be very dangerous. He's a player to watch for. But I think I'm going to say Princeton.
Yeah, I think I have to as well, and I did yesterday. And one of those things, too, where, like, you look at Princeton not winning the conference, but they had the best run postseason-wise of any of them. And it's amazing that, like, I think Ty brought it up, I maybe 3-4 years. I can't remember how many years, but they keep sending kids to the Division I level to play football. Like, yeah. I mean, it's an impressive thing what Coach Pearson's done. I got to track him down sometime next week. We were supposed to hook up last weekend. I dropped the ball on that, and so I want to get him on the show because that's a program that deserves it. Let's look at the LLC real quick. And if you want your NUIC news, go to Greg's View from the West page. And not that I dislike. And here's the thing: in that conference, now you have Morrison, you have Fulton. Those are all teams at the Galena. Like, those are all teams that we covered in the WQAD viewing area. So it's become more, Stockton as well. So, like, it has kind of, but when you look at the LLC, what stands out to you in that conference?
I like now they do use small and large divisions. So Stockton can know that. In the small school side of things, I like Anawan Wethersfield. They struggled last year. Zeb Rashid got hurt, and they had a couple other injuries early in the season, which really kind of derailed their year overall. But that led to a lot of guys getting some opportunities. So I think that when you look, I like Anawan Wethersfield this year. I got a couple names. Nick Thurston is a defensive player they bring back. On the offensive side of the ball, Maddox Heitzler got a lot of opportunities at quarterback and really made the most of it. Also, Devin Orey at running back is back as well. So I think that they got some pieces there. Kind of getting farther outside of like your coverage area. I think Rushville Industry will be good on that side. Princeville will be good on that side of the division, but I would lean Anawan Wethersfield.
What about the big boys over on that side? Is it Farmington reloading again?
Farmington's going to be good. I think Macomb's a team to watch for. And again, they're kind of outside your coverage area, but Macomb is bringing back a lot of athletes. They're a program that like just missed last year. Like they had some really close games. I think they get over that hump this year. I'll go on a limb and I'll say Macomb is the conference champion out there.
Greg, before I let you go, tell people, like, and I guess this literally is our favorite time of the year. Like it gets so, yep. It's a sickness with us, especially you. I think you're sicker than I am, which that's a compliment. But what is it about this time? And like, kind of talk about what the season looks like for View from the West, because here we are in your 6th year, I think, doing it, something like that.
Yeah.
I get confused every time. But it's something that's grown, and you got to love what you're doing. But what does it look like this year for View from the West? We kind of talked about the live show on Sunday.
All right, I'll give you one more thing before we jump into that.
Love it.
In eight-man football, in week 1 is a rematch of the state championship game between Milledgeville and Amboy. So there's some interesting small school 8-man stuff. Yeah, a rematch
and that's
of the
still separate. Is that still separate from the HSA?
Yeah, it's not considered IHSA
That's
yet.
going to change. I think it's going to change very soon. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's going to change pretty soon, which is good as well. Yeah. And we'll go more next week into like individual matchups and kind of look at some of that kind of stuff as well. Man, I can't believe football's almost here. But View from the West is going to be fun.
You're asking me about, like, I just can't believe it's already here. Like, it doesn't seem real yet, So, no, we're excited, and I think that, like you said, it's our 6th season, and I think we're just trying to continue to build on kind of what we've already established. So we'll have the weekly show that everyone's used to that'll come out on Tuesdays. That's our look back at the week that was and looking ahead at the next week and kind of previewing the games and kind of what we see in the matchups. Occasionally throughout the season, we'll bring in some of our insiders, our View from the West insiders, to give kind of the inside look at some of these conferences or give us a little more insight on some of the matchups that maybe we know people that'll be at the games and, stuff like that. So, but then on what I'm really excited about is the addition of a live show on Friday nights. So the Instant Reacts, I think a lot of people are familiar with it. We would sit down, we'd hit record, and we'd all just kind of banter after we got done doing our work on a Friday night. And I think that taking that into a live setting, bringing in some coaches, hopefully some student athletes to react to games, I think is the next logical step. I think that there's a longing for people to, hear that conversation right after they leave the game or when they're kind of decompressing after being out at a game. And I think we're the same way. We want to talk about it right away. So I don't want to wait. I don't want to record it and post it Saturday morning. I want to just get it out there. So I'm hoping Friday nights, and I say hoping because, logistics and we're making the plans, but I would say 10:15 every Friday night we'll hit record and start going. So watch for links to it on our X feed. We'll get it out there, and we'll be live on YouTube on Friday nights.
Yeah, and
Dazzo, if you're around, you can jump in as well.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things too where you look at it and like that's what people going home from games want. And when they win a game, and we know what it's like. And I've set up so many interviews with the Scorer on Friday nights, and they are so excited to talk as well. And it'll be cool because. And I know how it'll kind of look, and it'll be one of those things where we don't know what it looks like, but that's the cool part about it. It's literally live television or podcasting at its finest where, you'll wait to see who pops in and we'll talk to coaches that doing well and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a fantastic idea to do and get done. And again, like it's one of those things that continues to build what high school football is around this area. And it makes it so intriguing each and every week to kind of see who does what and where people go throughout the season. Mitch, like I want to get him on the show. How do we make this happen? Like, are you his agent? Like, is next week finally the time that like Mitch says, okay, I'm going to lower myself to Dazzo's level and come on his show?
Well, I mean, we'll have to talk to him. I know he wants to make an appearance at the Randazzo mansion. So
he wants to be on set.
He wants to be on set. And I know he's coming back for a weekend in the fall. I'd have to figure out which weekend that is. But no, I think we need to get him on before that. He can be a regular every week to talk, same thing we're talking here.
Yes, no, absolutely. That's the plan. And it was funny. Ty Taylor said the same thing yesterday. He's like, why does Stocking get to come to the house and I have to do it? I said, next, and he's in Alito. I said, you swing by Circle K, get me 44 ounces of Diet Mountain Dew, and you come my way, you can come on the show every single day. Like, I just need the Diet Mountain Dew to keep awake and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we'll start open up the house a little more, I think, as the season goes along and all that kind of stuff. But it's right around the corner. View from the West. Go check out all of, and real quick, the Western Big Six podcast. What a cool, and I've watched the clips online. I'm going to go listen to it today. I got my yard to cut. I got my mom's yard to cut. So like this afternoon, I'm going to be spending with my headphones on, listening to stuff. But Denny Derricks, was on the show. How cool was that?
Oh, that was great. And if you go out on the clip we posted on X, like I had just asked him about like, what do you see in Moline's offense? What do you like about what they do? And man, he just went into some detail that's just like, as a non-football coach, it's just things I don't think about, things I don't see. And that's why I wanted to bring him in, right? Like, I just want his perspective as someone who's seen and coached and analyzed so much football. And it was great. And he does that several times throughout the show where you just really get this cool insight to like pick his brain on different teams and what they're going through and how he can relate to it. So really good. Yeah, Denny Derricks is great. He's a fan of the show. And we started talking to him in the offseason. And I was like, hey, you should jump in and talk. Like, you know more football than Mitch and I. So it was great.
Yeah, no, that's the cool thing too, is we talk about the live show. You do have the relationships. We do have the relationships with these coaches. So it's an easy thing to do. They want to come on. They want to converse. They want to talk as well. It should be a lot of fun. If you're in Rock Island tonight and you're wondering, you'll probably see Greg Armstrong with a Polar Pop in his hand because there's one real close to. Yeah, you got to think about these things. So you'll have a nice frosty beverage in your hand, and you'll be. Are you working tonight? Or are you just watching tonight?
I'll probably just watch. Just a scrimmage, take it in, see if Casey can hit an extra point maybe or two.
You're always working in your mind. You might not have a
I'll
camera
be watching,
on you, but you'll be watching. So, all right, Greg, I appreciate you. Go check out all this stuff. View from the West. It's View from West Pod. View from the West Pod on X.
It's View from West Pod on X.
Yes.
And on Instagram. On YouTube, just search View from the West.
I love it. And we'll have a week of high school football to talk about next week in actual games. So,
awesome.
All right, get back to that other job that you have to do, and I'll talk to you again real soon.
Sounds good.
All right, that is Greg Armstrong, View from the West, high school football season. We've talked all about it. It's coming up very, very soon, 1 week from right now. Enjoy the scrimmages out in the area, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to get caught up, like we've mentioned on this show, I think we're up to 24 coaches, 25 that we've talked to on both sides of the river. So go check those out. They're all over the place on from the past shows on our YouTube, and check out all the previews that View from the West has. Follow them as well. It's well worth it. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Friday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. and the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. I don't normally wear hats on the show, and so my hat's all goofy looking because I had it backwards. God, it looks stupid. Oh well. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. It was a busy night last night, making for a quick morning this morning. So, but it's been a fun show so far. We got to thank Pat Angerer, the voice of the Hawkeyes when it comes to the radio analyst side of things, for joining us in the show. Iowa football 8 days away. Super excited about that. Greg Armstrong, so much to talk about when it comes to high school football. So thank you to Greg as well. That was a fun segment, kind of breaking down some of the conference winners on the Illinois side of the river. I think I looked at it, and if you're throughout the last 3 weeks, we've covered every Western Big Six school except for Galesburg, hoping to get to them. Every MAC school, and I know the MAC's not a thing in football, but if you know what I mean. Other schools around the area as well. A lot of Three Rivers schools, all that kind of stuff. So if you're wanting to see your team and all those kind of things, I think this weekend I'm going to post out individual previews of all those teams so you can go check them out as well. So check out the YouTube page. It's got all those kind of things on it as well as we get ready for high school football season. It's a week from right now. You know what? In 24 hours, we're going to be watching football, college football. Iowa State, Kansas State. Right now, Kansas State is a 3.5-point favorite. An 11 a.m. kickoff over in Ireland. If you missed it earlier this week, we had Jake Brend on the show on Wednesday. So go check that out. He was over in Ireland previewing the actual game itself. So great stuff from Jake Brend. Go check it out. But Iowa State looking to get on track. And we talked last night at our Hawkeye radio dinner that we were kind of surprised that, they play next week. They got like South Dakota, who's good. So, or South Dakota State, one of the two. So, they come back right after the game. Jake Brent talked about that because they got to get ready for that game. And then of course the Cyhawk game right after that. So, Iowa State plus 3.5. Jake Brend likes Kansas State to win. Doesn't like Kansas State, likes Iowa, but likes Kansas State to win. If it was 3, I'd probably buy the hook and lay the 3. But I'm kind of intrigued by the under 55.5. But maybe I shouldn't be. So, yeah, it should be a great game over in Ireland. Iowa State, Kansas State. We'll talk about it on Monday, break everything down, all those kind of things. Hopefully Jay can join us Monday or Tuesday as well. We'll get caught up with that. Also, during the show, Darren Keith let me know on our chat that Erie Prophetstown games this season, starting with the scrimmage on Saturday, are going to be streamed on YouTube, which is really cool. A lot of teams doing those kind of stuff. So let me know if your team or school is doing that. We'll kind of maybe get a list of where you can get the teams and all that kind of stuff. Get that out, because that's the beauty of sports these days is people want it now. So the live sports coverage has become bigger and better than ever. So I'm excited about that. Next week, speaking of live sports coverage, MC22 does a fantastic job throughout the state, here in the Quad Cities as well. They're beginning another year high school football, and their play-by-play and color commentary duo of Pete Ivanek and Johnny Marks are starting their 20th year of calling games together. So we're going to chat with them next week about that, because I don't think people realize MC22, it used to be live to tape and then you'd watch it later. It's as live can be. So they got some great games coming up on Friday nights, some Thursday night games I think as well. We'll talk with Johnny and Pete next week and get ready for the season as well with them. I was making a little list of next week, hoping to have Pat will be back on, Gary Dolphin, some high school coaches. We're going to talk to both the St. Ambrose and Augustana head coaches, kind of get ready for the season for them as well. A ton to get to next week. So thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you get out to the Western Big Six Coaches Banquet coming up this Sunday, 5:30, doors open at the Botanical Center. I promise you'll have a bunch of fun in that. So do that. And of course, I thank you guys for watching. I always thank our sponsors as well for allowing me to do this show each and every day here in the Quad Cities. Hungry Hobo, Rafferty Funeral Home, Godfather's Pizza, the Quad City Steam Wheelers, Snoop is the best, and Mobile Party Experience. Skiles Driving School will be joining us in the very, very near future. I'm excited about putting his finishing up his commercial this weekend and getting him rocking and rolling here real soon. So Skiles Driving School, I'll get it right. Skiles Driving School in East Moline. Excited to start a partnership with them as well. So anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching throughout the week. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday, most likely Gary Dolphin on Monday's show and a whole bunch more. So enjoy your weekend. Happy football, because there's scrimmages tonight and Iowa State tomorrow. And then we'll be back with a brand new week of shows coming up on Monday. Have a great weekend, Quad Cities.